Hey now friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all about builder gel, and this is something I still see a lot of questions about on social media. It's like people are intimidated by it because they don't really understand what it is or how to use it. So today is going to be kind of a back to basics. So we'll be talking about what exactly builder gel is, some reasons why you might want to consider trying it, and how to apply it. So if this sounds like something you'd be interested in, then stick around, we're getting into it. So before we get to application, let's talk first about what builder gel is. Builder gel is just a thick gel that's used for nail enhancements, and it's not something that's going to dry like nail polish. It does require a UV LED lamp to cure it. So what's it for? Well, what I like to use it for is to create an overlay on my natural nails, so we'll be talking at length about that today. But you can also make fake tips with it. So instead of using a plastic tip, you can actually use forms, either dual forms or paper forms, to build a tip on your natural nail. And while I don't do this regularly, I have used that process when I've broken a nail, and it works really well. And then lastly, you can also create or sculpt nail art with it. You may have seen some of these on Instagram or other social media outlets where they've made like unicorn horns or mermaid tails with builder gel, so it can actually be used to create some pretty cool sculpture art too. So let's talk about why you might want to try it. Builder gel actually makes a great protective layer for your natural nail, and that can be used in addition to dip or on its own. So it can be especially helpful if you have to break up removal of your manis and application of your new one between more than one day. It can actually help keep your nails protected in between that time. And builder gel actually makes it really easy to change out your manis more frequently, especially when you use it with peel base, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. So I think it's important to talk about how to remove builder gel, because this was one of the main reasons why I was hesitant to try it myself the first time. I actually saw somebody ask a question in one of the Facebook groups about how to remove builder gel, and somebody replied, "Laugh out loud, you can't, it's part of your body now," which I know was supposed to be funny, but for somebody who was very intimidated by it, that definitely did not encourage me to want to try it. So there are actually two types of builder gel. There's hard gels, and then there are soft or soak-off gels. So hard gels, such as IBD hard gel, cannot be removed with acetone. You're not going to be able to soak that off. So the only way to remove that really is to file it down as thin as you can get it without getting to your natural nail bed and damaging it. And then soft gels or soak-off gels, which include most builders in a bottle, can be soaked off, but I think it's worth mentioning that it is extremely time consuming. So if you are going to remove it, you're going to want to, again, file it down as thin as possible and then soak the remaining off. But really the fastest and easiest way to do this is just to file it down to a very thin layer and then add new layers on top. And this is my preferred method. I find that it works very quickly for me this way, and I don't have to worry about soaking in acetone. So that is the way I like to do it. The reasons why I love builder so much is that I like to switch out my manis a little too often, let's be honest. But I love all the pretty colors and all the amazing dips I have in my collection, and I just want to put them all on my fingers right now. So builder gel works great for me because I can put peel base on top and then switch those manis out as often as I want. But perhaps more importantly, I'm a busy lady. I have a full-time job, I have a husband, I have a 17-year-old daughter, and I have a very needy dog. So it's very difficult for me to sit down for hours and take off one mani and put on another and finish it up. So I like being able to remove one mani and have my nails still protected, and then be able to do my next one the following day. And I know I don't have to really worry about breaks because my nails are still protected with that builder gel. So hopefully by now I've convinced you that it's worth looking into, and it's not quite as intimidating as it seems. So let's say you do want to try it. Let's talk about what you're going to need if you do want to create your own builder gel overlay. First things first, you're going to need a UV LED lamp, and the one I have here is from iGel Beauty, and it's their diamond wireless lamp, and I love it because it has no cord for your klutzy friend to trip over. So any lamp over 48 watts should work, so it doesn't have to be a wireless one, but if you're a klutz, I'm just saying it is kind of a lifesaver. So the next item is optional, but it's highly recommended, and that is to have an e-file. So the one I have here again is from iGel Beauty, and it's their diamond wireless e-file. Again, no cord. Are you seeing a trend? But I like this one a lot, but you can find cheaper alternatives on Amazon if you're not quite that committed to this yet. But it just kind of makes shaping and filing your builder gel once you've got it laid onto your nail. It just makes that a lot easier and more time efficient. So I do recommend it. And I have two bits here. One is a bit that I was using for removal, so that's really more to file it down if you need to. But the one I'm holding in my hand there is a Mandrel Bit with a fine sanding band, and that is what I use mostly with my builder gel. Of course, you're going to want a hand file, so I have McCart's 100-180 here. And then I have some lint-free wipes, which you're going to need because you're going to have a tacky layer on your builder gel that you're going to need to clean off, along with your rubbing alcohol here, which I've got mine in a little, what do you call those? The bottles with the little tops so you can push on them and it comes up. Guys, what is that called? I feel stupid right now. And then I have this cleanup brush, which I use anytime I slap any over the sides or the cuticle area, because you want to make sure to clean that off, because otherwise that will lead to lifting. And then next you're going to need some kind of protein bond, and I've seen people say this is optional, but I'm going to argue that it's not. And the reason I say that is because anything that's going to help prevent your builder gel lifting is absolutely worth investing in. So I have Young Nails protein bond here, and I use this one consistently because I know it works for me. But I know a lot of people like Mia's Secret Extra Bond, and I know it is a little bit less expensive. So again, I haven't used that one, so I can't comment on it, but I've heard a lot of really good things about that one as well. So this is just the one I know works for me. All the protein bond is designed to do is just to help that builder gel stick onto your nail and not come off. So like I said, to me, that's not optional. I need that. Next, you're going to need a gel base coat. And with some builder gels, they may tell you that you do not need a base coat to make theirs work. I would ignore that, honestly. I would still use a gel base coat because, again, it's definitely not going to hurt anything, and all it's going to do is help ensure you don't have lifting. So I would go ahead and invest in that gel base coat, even if your builder gel of choice says that you don't need one. So the whole idea behind your protein bond and your gel base is that now you'll have two layers helping that builder gel to stick to your nails. So the hope is you'll have very minimal and hopefully no lifting. And next you're going to need your builder gel of choice. So builder gel will either come in a pot or in a bottle. I would argue that builder in a bottle is just slightly easier to use, but they're both tricky. They're both going to require certain techniques to get them applied properly, which I will be showing you here in a bit. But the one I have here is iGel Beauty's Pale Pink. It is a builder in a bottle. I've used several of their colors, including their clear and then a couple of the other tinted ones. And I really do enjoy them, and I'm just trying this one out right now. I just finished using Sheer Nude, but this is just a really nice lightly tinted builder gel. The reason why I prefer something with a light tint to it is because if I am between manis and I'm at work with just my builder gel on, I don't know, I just feel a little more polished and more complete if I have just a little bit of a tint to my builder gel. So I don't know, that's just me. So I am just going to open this up real quick just so you can see the consistency of this builder gel. So builder gels are not like nail polish, they're not like gel polish, they are thick, THICC. They are designed to be that way. So if you open yours up and you see this, you're like, uh-oh, something's wrong with this. No, that's what it's supposed to look like. It is supposed to be thick and kind of sticky looking, and that's why you can't just go placing it on your nail. You have to use certain techniques to get it to level on there and stay on there correctly. This last one is optional, but highly, highly recommended if you're going to use peel base, and that is a top coat. You're going to want a gel top coat if you're going to use peel base because it will just kind of smooth everything out and make the peel base easier to get off. If you do not use a gel top coat and you try to put peel base directly on your finished builder, you're probably going to have to file it off, and ask me how I know that. The first 3 times I used peel base with builder, I did not use a top coat, and I ended up having to file it off, which totally defeats the purpose. So if you're going to use that peel base, definitely get yourself a gel top coat to make things easier for you. And then I just have here a couple of tools I like to use for prep. So whatever your cuticle tools that you like to use for prep will be just fine for builder gel, but I'm just showing you the 2 that I use. So I have a metal pusher that I use to push back my cuticles, but then I have this glass pusher that I use to get the invisible cuticle off my nail. And if you have not tried a glass file, you gotta try them. They're not that expensive, and I'm telling you, they're somehow gentle, but also more effective. I don't know how that works, but I just know that for getting invisible cuticle off, nothing works better for me than this. So I push the cuticles back with the metal file, but then I go around the edge of that cuticle with this glass file to get off that invisible cuticle. And then just so you know what I did here, I took off most of my builder gel that I already had on, and that was just so I could show you the whole process. I didn't really include the removal portion in this because I didn't figure we wanted to make this video be like 10 hours long. But I did go ahead and file mine down most of the way, and then I'm just going in with my cuticle tools and prepping. So take your time on this part because builder gel will lift if you do not have properly prepped nails. So by that I mean push your cuticles back, go around with your pusher and get off that invisible cuticle, because all of that that's left on your nail can definitely contribute to lifting, just like it will with dip. It'll do the same thing with your builder gel. So don't skip this part. Take your time and make sure you get all of that stuff off. Once you get your prep work done, go ahead and wipe down with alcohol, and then you can start in with your protein bond. So this particular one recommends 2 layers, and just take a look at the liquid, see how watery it is. That's what it's meant to look like. It's really just a prep liquid. So you're gonna go ahead and put down 1 layer, and then by the time you're done with that one, you can go back to the beginning and start over. It doesn't take very long to dry. And yes, this bottle really is that tiny. And yes, it's kind of pricey, but having said that, I will say that the bottle has lasted me quite some time. So you're only doing 2 very thin layers every time you fill your builder gel. So yeah, it's tiny, but it is lasting me quite a while. All right, so step 2 is going to be our gel base. So we're just going to go in and put a thin layer on each of these nails. And just a side note, I do like to work one hand at a time. I just find it's easier that way, and then I don't have to worry about getting lint or oils onto my other hand. So I'm just going to do this one hand. But I'll go in with my gel base on each of the 4 fingers, and then I always do my thumbs separately. And then you'll just go ahead and cure that layer, and you'll follow the directions on your bottle or for whatever particular product you're using. This one I believe is only 30 seconds. So once that's cured, we're going to be ready to go in with our builder gel. So I've got my pale pink builder gel here. So let me talk a little bit about techniques for application, because again, you can't just go in with this like nail polish. There's a specific way that you're going to want to apply it that will make it a lot easier for you. So I pulled my bottle here close just so you can see how much I'm wiping off. So you don't want to take it all off, of course, but you want to take enough of it off that you're not just glooping it on there. It's better to work in thinner layers and do more layers than to do a couple of very thick ones, because you're likely to get uneven layers and you'll be more prone to lifting. So I'm just kind of putting it on there to begin with, but I'm not really kind of placing it very precisely. I'm just trying to get it on there to begin with. And I'm placing it more towards the middle of the nail, and then watch as I take the brush and push the product back towards the cuticle. So you don't want to start at the cuticle area and just paint it on like that. You really want to put the product more towards the middle of your nail, and then use the brush to push it back towards your cuticle, and then pull it out to smooth it out like I'm doing there. You don't want all of the builder gel collecting at the tip of your nail. Where you want most of the product to be is going to be in that apex area. So put it more towards the middle of your nail, push it back towards the cuticle, and then pull it out to smooth it out, and you'll get a nice smoother apex. Don't rush this process. You know, during this time, you see I'm moving my nail around. I'm checking to make sure I got it to the sides. I'm checking for smoothness. I'm checking to make sure I got everything covered. Don't rush this. And the first time you do it, it's probably going to feel like it takes forever. But I promise, once you start doing your fills, I actually can get it done pretty quickly. much faster than soaking off without the builder gel. So once you've finished your first nail, you're gonna have two options here. You can either go on to the next nail like I'm doing here, or some people like to flash cure that first nail. So do one nail at a time and then flash cure it and move on to the next. So what I mean by that is you're just gonna put it in your lamp for anywhere from maybe 10 to 15 seconds. And that's just to soft set that builder gel so you don't have to worry about it moving around while you're working on the others. And that's probably good advice, and especially if you're a beginner, might be worth trying. I've just done this enough that I'm just comfortable enough not doing the flash cure, but it's definitely not gonna hurt anything if you wanna do it that way. Once you've got your 4 nails all ready to go, what you're going to want to do is turn your hand over upside down. And what you're trying to do here is let gravity help you build your apex with your builder gel. So it doesn't take very long, just a few seconds, and then you can go ahead and pop it into your lamp and cure it for whatever your bottle states the cure time is. Once that first layer is cured, you can go ahead and go in with your second layer. And then you'll continue to build as many or as few layers as you want. It's really up to you. I keep mine a little on the thin side just because I know most of the time I'm going to have dip over top, and I don't want my finished manis to be super thick by the time I put my dip over top of my builder gel. But I do also find that I get a pretty decent amount of strength between just the 2 or 3 layers that I typically fill with. And if I have to go without dip for a day or two, I still don't get any breaks. So it's kind of a happy medium for me. I keep it a little on the thin side, but not so thin that I'm not getting enough structure from it. So the very first time you do a builder gel overlay, it's going to take you a while. And that's because you don't have anything on there, so you have nothing to fill over top of. So you're going to have to start from scratch. So I guess what I'm saying is don't be discouraged at the first time you try it. It takes you a couple hours. It really might. I'm pretty sure it did for me the first time. But again, that's because I had nothing on my nail at all, and it took a while to build that up because, again, you don't want to go in with super thick layers. You want to do thin layers. And it takes time to do all of that, to get the product onto your nails, to get it all cured, to get it shaped. It's going to take a little while, so don't get discouraged by that. But now when I do my fills, since I'm filing down pretty thin and there's a little bit left on there, like I said, I usually do 2 to 3 layers depending on how much I need to fill. And it doesn't take me very long at all. I'd say maybe an hour, hour and a half max to file down, clean up, and then put more on top and finish that up and then file those again. So not very long. And remember, I'm not doing this with every mani. I'm only doing this when I need to fill. So because I'm using peel base, I'm popping them off and just going right into my next mani and only filling every few weeks. So here I'm just trying to show you how thick they are right now, and we're going to shape these a little bit so they'll end up being a little bit thinner. But can you kind of see how I have an apex here built up with the builder gel? And again, we'll clean that up a little bit, but what's great about that is if you build your apex with your builder gel, you don't have to worry about that with your dip. So you already have that nice shape. So you only take a couple of layers of dip over top and it's perfect. So once you're done building your layers, you do have that sticky layer on there. That's the inhibition layer. So you're gonna need to wipe that off before we shape them. Otherwise you're gonna gunk up your shaping tools, your files and your e-file, you're gonna gunk that up. So take your lint-free wipes and your alcohol and wipe all that sticky layer off so that you can go ahead and go in with your shaping. So let's talk a little bit about shaping. I like to start first with my hand file and get my pointy shape back. So whether you have a square shape or an almond shape or a coffin, or maybe you're like me and you can't decide whether you want to do almond or stiletto, so you do almondettos, you're going to start just by taking your hand file and getting that shape back first. And then we'll go in the e-file, go in with the e-file afterwards. And you know, can you minimize the shaping of your builder gel? Sure, you could just hand file and then go right in with your dip, but I think it's kind of a missed opportunity because my manis go so much faster. I mean, we're talking very little shaping and filing because I have such a nice shape underneath with the builder gel that I just pop a few layers, two to three layers of dip on top, no apex building, just throw it right on there, and I already have a pretty good shape, so it just doesn't take very long at all. So now I'm going to go in with my e-file here, and I've got my Mandrel Bit with the fine sanding band on top, because I don't really want to take off a whole bunch. I'm really just looking to shape it a little bit and remove bulk from the areas where I have a little too much, so I have my nice apex formed. So I typically turn this up to somewhere around 8,000 RPMs. Whatever speed you want is fine. You don't want anything too high because, again, you don't want to take off too much product, but you want it just high enough to shape it nicely. So, okay, I guess I lied. That was 6,000 RPMs, but anywhere between 6 and 8 is usually what I'm doing. So again, all I'm trying to do here is perfect the shape. So you can see on that one, I have a little too much bulk on the tip, so I'm filing some of that down. And then I'm going back along the sides where I hand filed and just cleaning that up a little bit so it's a little more tapered instead of just a harsh line there. Don't be afraid to file your builder gel. It really holds up well to filing. The only areas where I would avoid doing too much filing is around the sidewalls and the cuticle area, because if you make it too thin there, then you're losing that structure, and then it's going to be more prone to lifting. So I'm not saying you can't file there. You can see that I did. Just don't file and file and file and file there, because if you take off too much product there, you're just asking for lifting. So I'm pretty happy with this shape. I've got a nice little apex here, and I removed the excess bulk at the tip there. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one, but you can see what thin of a layer I use, and it may seem awful thin, but I'm actually getting a lot of strength just from that thin of a layer. So I can go a couple of days, 2-3 days without dip over top and not have to worry about breaks. Now, if I was going to go longer than that, I probably would make these a little bit thicker, but as far as the purposes of putting dip over top, that's good enough for me to get enough strength without getting too much bulk. Okay, so we're done with the filing, and don't they look pretty? Okay, maybe not, but they are shaped nicely, and once we get them finished up here, they will look pretty, you'll see. So obviously we're gonna need to clean these babies up with alcohol, so let's do that. And then if you're not going to use peel base, you don't need a top coat, so you can actually just wipe these down and you can go right into your dip whenever you're ready. I'm going to go ahead and show you finishing up with the top coat because I do use peel base, but if you don't, you can stop here and go right on after you wipe down to your dip mani. So all I'm trying to show you here again is the apex. I have a very nice shape here, and keep in mind that though my nails are technically shorties, so are my nail beds. My nail beds are actually really short, and my nail is almost twice the length of my nail bed. So I do still need an apex. So the longer your nails are, the more of an apex you're going to need. And by that I mean you're going to want the thickest part of your builder gel in that area where your nail separates from your skin, because that is the area that is most prone to breaking. So right there in the middle, that's where you need to make sure you have the most bulk to protect that part from breaking. So if you decided you do want to use peel base, once you've cleaned your nails down, you'll go ahead and throw down a layer of gel base and then a layer of gel top. So that's all I'm doing here is I'm just putting down my layer of gel base, and then after that I'll go through my gel top, and that will make a nice smooth canvas for your peel base. Again, that way you'll have an easier time of getting your peel base off, whereas if you just try to put it over top of your finished builder, it's going to stick. And then this will just be my layer of gel top. And there we have my finished builder gel nails. So I can either go in with my dip mani, my peel base and my dip mani, or I can leave these like they are for a couple of days until I get time to do mine, and that's what I'm doing today. I don't have enough time to do my mani today, so I'm just going to wear these. So I will go ahead and finish with my Candy Skincare Cuticle Oil, and I have it in Sweet Orange here. If you were going to go into your dip mani, please don't do this. It'll make your dip mani not want to stick. So this is just if you're going to stop here for the day. And that's going to finish this video, guys. So if you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear them. Go ahead and leave them down below. And if you found this video helpful, I would appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. That helps me out so much. And while you're there, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.